In this week's episode, we are looking at Wednesday the 10th. This begins 1 week of irritable, rash, and unpredictable issues. So, to hear more about this, tune in to this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reavy, along with the routine regulator herself, Sandy Reavy. Say hi.
Let's go. Let's get this done.
It is November 8th, episode 172. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Wednesday, November 10th, Mercury conjunct Mars.
Talk or run.
And Mercury square Saturn.
Taking longer than normal.
Mars square Saturn.
Hit a wall. This is Wednesday the 10th is my astro interesting day. 3 big transits all happening on this day.
And Friday, November 12th, Sun trine Neptune.
Need a hug?
And Saturday, November 13th, Mercury opposing Uranus.
Nowhere to hide.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up one soul talisman. Also on the horizon, we have our astrology forecast for November that is up and ready for you to view. Our astrology webinar coming up November 10th. Our constellation bracelet workshop, as well as our generational malas on the site. Then in our house, I'm headed out of town, so tune in to hear where and what I'll be doing.
And what she's bringing.
And stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, routine regulator.
Routine regulator. I'm wondering if that's because I'm back home.
Yes.
Okay, and I love routine, and which is a Saturn thing, and a Mercury thing. But then I like that Uranus, that change and doing things differently than what's on your calendar. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that for the last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back, Mama.
Yeah, just as you're headed out of town.
Just as I'm headed out of town. But luckily we have Zoom and all the things that we're going to keep going with our podcast and with all the things that we're working on. So I want to go direct to all of you listeners. Thank you so much for all of your feedback that you send in. I did get this wonderful story from a past She Beads customer. Her name's Karen T. And she's from Kentucky. So she sent in this story of hers that pretty much brought me to tears. So I want to share it with all of you. She says, though you can't tell by my purchase history, I'm a long-time devotee of She Beads. Basically why she says that, she's not ordering on the website. She's ordering through our old wholesalers. Mm-hmm. I bought them and wore them when your mom first started the business long before my breast cancer diagnosis in 2018. I love your work. I'm also really looking forward to that Thanksgiving collection this year. One of the places I bought She Beads years ago was in Lexington at the office where I had my mammograms done. Somehow there was a connection there with your mom. Maybe her college roommate, I think, was responsible for making her beads showcase there. That's where I first bought my first Christmas She Beads, among others. I bought some in Northern Kentucky, Alexandria, at a shop called Something Special.
Oh, I remember that.
If my memory serves me correctly, which it does. I no longer go to the same mammography office, and Something Special is now closed. But those places are responsible for getting me hooked on She Beads. At the time, my younger sister was battling breast cancer, so the beads were extra special to me. My bracelets from those places all have at least one pink ribbon piece on them. My sister unfortunately lost the battle. Every time I wear my beads, I think of her. I thankfully was fortunate with my cancer, discovered in a mammogram diagnosis. So far, so good. I had a bilateral mastectomy on December 18th, 2018, and Merry Christmas to me. There was no need for chemo. So she says, I'm taking medication which causes horrible joint pain and unbearable hot flashes, but it's not intravenous chemo, and I'm eternally grateful to have avoided that. Karen, you are a fighter.
Oh, Karen.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Our thoughts and prayers to your family from your sister's loss, and My goodness.
Wow, I'm so happy that you shared the story with us. Can bring tears to our eyes.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, I used to do mammograms, right? Being in radiology years ago. And, staying on your health plan.
Right.
And those mammograms can show and are important.
And she found hers early.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what a beautiful story. And yeah, I know some of those places. There was a sales diva
Right.
in that area. And I love that you still have them. And I love, and of course, if they need a repair, send them on in.
Right. Of course, if you have any questions, email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. I also want to share more stories, so send that feedback, send those stories that you have along to me. So let's move in the transits. We start off this week with your astrological interesting day. So Wednesday, November 10th is it, and it starts with Mercury conjunct Mars.
Let me just kind of back up for a second and just say this is the day. I mean, we start always the day on Monday, but here we are on Wednesday, and it really begins. We can feel this on Monday.
Okay.
This is the whole week. So it begins this 1 week of irritability, rash, and unpredictable issues. So things will be coming up.
Perfect for my vacation.
Jeez. But not happening in your bubble world.
Okay.
But
All
maybe
right.
so. You got you always feel these. You Pisces
It's interesting.
always feel these.
Yes.
But let's talk about the Mercury, the planet of communication and ideas and thoughts and speaking or listening. We sometimes forget that communication is also
About the receiving.
Yeah, listening. But this Mercury is in Scorpio, and it's making this conjunction to Mars in Scorpio at 7 degrees of Scorpio. And this is about 7 a.m., and I titled this Talk or Run. Because Mars here has all the strength. Here he's in his own domicile. So this can go either way, but it's gotta go.
Okay.
Mars is like, I've got to make this happen. Are we talking, or are we running apart?
Right.
Or maybe you could run together. This is like this getting something straight, getting the line connected. It's this mercurial energy, in Scorpio. So Mars holds the power here. So if you have, heated discussions, conversations, purposeful, maybe probing, maybe a little bit, tap or
Poke.
things that you don't want to talk about, maybe need to come out. So find out where you want to run.
Run with the conversation.
Oh, hey, didn't think about that. Talk or run meant to me was like, we're either going to talk about it or we're running away. I'm running a different direction.
Right.
So check yourself this on this day, or actually this whole week.
And so the same day, November 10th, Mercury squares Saturn.
Before lunch. Now, so this Mercury now is making this aspect square, little frustrating. It's a little edgy to the Saturn and at 7 degrees. And these are in fixed signs. So this is taking longer than normal. Things are, we're finding more to discover. We need to get down to the bottom of something. So maybe there's more defined details. Something about long-term agreements, making plans for the future. Like make the plan and then kind of back into it by finding more of the details. It's like, to me, this is not a hard sales day. This is, any hard-ended agreements are not supported to work well. You don't want an answer on this day, right? But you want to see and you want to understand the pressure here. This is not, you're not going to come up with get an answer here. To me, this is more of a, let's begin our conversation like we did earlier in the day, instead of running. And coming back and setting some boundaries maybe is
that's great, because Saturn loves boundaries, and maybe building off of that foundation, or even creating the foundation if you weren't able to get there already. Yeah. So still the same day, Wednesday, November 10th, Mars squares Saturn.
at 7 degrees, right? We got all of these planets at, boom, 7 degrees of a fixed sign. And this is before dinner. So we hit a wall. If, it's like you're pushing Mars, very strong Mars in Scorpio, ruler of, is squaring Saturn in Aquarius, ruler of. So, Saturn is the stop, Mars is the go. So it's this push, pull, not feeling like you're getting anywhere. So it's like you're pushing to move something forward, an agenda or papers or a project or just getting out of the house maybe. And you're pushing it to move and you're finding it's not moving. There's like no way out. There's nowhere to go. So patience has got to be practiced here.
Okay.
So it's like, take one deep breath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that kind of thing. So find that muscle, whatever that push that you want to use it for another day. And I'll tell you when. It's just, wait for it, that kind of attitude. But until that time, you need to work on the strength. So maybe your, that what you want to achieve down the line or in the future or this long-term plan, you're having to develop some muscle around that. So, it's like work on your strength. Is there a skill you need to learn? Do you need to hire a trainer, a personal trainer? Learn the moves of something so that you can, it can be fortified and you can be a little bit more responsible in the structure you're trying to create. Because if you're just trying to go, push the agenda without having the right tools, it's going to hit a wall.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, reminds me of that, when you're on the road and the car in front of you says, brand new driver on board.
You're right.
It's kind of reminds me of that sticker where it's like, be patient with me.
Right.
I'm learning, I'm practicing, and this is a big step in both of our worlds.
Right.
The thing about this Mars square Saturn, though, is that this Mars is in a superior square. When we had this a year ago, when Mars was also very strong in Aries, this is where Mars was going retrograde. He was in Aries literally, I swear, I think it was like 5 or 6 months. It just felt forever. But now, and Saturn was in the superior square, which means it was an applying to square. So now we've waited this whole year, and Mars has moved halfway through the constellations, and now he's pushing on Saturn from the superior. So Mars does not want to give up. Mars will.
So Mars is now kind of pushing his own mentor.
Yeah,
in
and
the direction.
Saturn can turn around and say,
quit it.
Cut it out, stop. And that would be more of a pleasant response from Saturn.
Okay.
Than doing a backwards horse kick.
Right. And also don't forget, we have an astrology webinar happening November 10th at 5:30 Chicago time. That link is in the description or on the horizon.
And actually, it's talking about all of this, because what we're not talking about here on this day is the transiting Uranus. And Uranus is also Uranus is at 12 degrees of a fixed sign. So this is the build-up day for what's next week. Hey, this is, not a favorite week of mine, but next week is not a favorite week of mine.
Okay.
So how do we categorize that? It's kind of the lead up of not a favorite week to a bigger, not my favorite week. Because now we have all of these planets plus the moon making that square to Uranus.
Yeah, but we're not afraid of challenges, so we got it.
No, but that's what we're talking about.
Right.
It's this T square, Mars coming in, the moon will be with in play, Mercury's in play, Mars is in play, Uranus is in play,
right.
Saturn's in
and
play.
You and Susan are going to be bringing in some practical exercises on how to utilize your gifts during this time.
Yeah, because this is the, how am I breaking up and out?
Right.
Right.
Okay. And so let's move on to Friday, November 12th. We have the Sun trine Neptune.
Oh, you need a hug? I think you do after all that.
Right.
This kind of reminds me of the song Blurred Lines, when we talk about Neptune. And, of course, Neptune's in Pisces, the water sign. He's retrograde here. And the sun is in Scorpio, a water sign. So, when you add Neptune in, like, it's a trine. So this is, a harmonious aspect. But it can just, like, soften the edges. It's like not a hard stop.
Right.
And
it
so,
blurs the boundary.
Yeah, it says, so find a soothing space here. I suggest go get your feet massaged.
Okay.
At that Happy Feet place.
Or do a day spa, where they have those salt baths and just rooms where you can chill in all day. Those are great.
I know. And we have one of those Happy Feet places, or Smiley Feet, or what do we call that? Foot Smile up the street. So maybe that's where I'll hop on Friday night. But this also, because it's the sun making a trine to an outer planet that's in retrograde, this is our signal that this outer planet, which happens to be Neptune, is preparing to station direct in about 3 weeks. So this is right around December 1st when this Neptune starts moving forward. So it won't be as nebulous, repeating and going over the same degrees of a territory in someone's chart. But pretty soon you'll be able to get into new territory.
Okay.
But this is kind of finding a soothing space.
Okay.
This is like maybe doing yoga.
Yoga, meditation, all of it. So let's move to Saturday, November 13th, Mercury opposing Uranus.
All right, here's where now we begin. Now we got this opposition going on with the Uranus, and this is fixed signs. This is at 12 degrees, and this is what I call nowhere to hide. Show up where you are least expected. If you're expected to be there, go surprise those people that you didn't show up, but then surprise those other people that didn't expect you somewhere. It just reminds me of doing something different on this day. Write down all your thoughts, because speaking them, that might oppose others. So it's a good day to write what's coming in quickly, because this Uranus is, of course, is a quick, unexpected, unpredictable, sudden, kind of burst of
even like mood
mental.
Shifts.
Yeah. So here you could probably stay up late, because it will be unusually easy, because in this position, Mercury is just constantly thinking. It's like ping pong balls inside your brain. Okay. It's just like boing boing. And so pay attention to finding a new sudden interest in a study, or maybe this is a good day to probe and surf the web. Right? This is Mercury to the Uranus. Uranus is, like the high frequency of internet. So Mercury is like finding information. So like if there's something that you've been wanting to research, this is a good day to do that, because it'll pop you around. Then you'll learn a word. How do you pronounce that word? Go to the pronunciation of the word. It just seems like there's like this ping pong ball and you could really probably fall asleep on the computer, because you've gotten so much information that you may want to follow that through into a study course. Okay.
And also, this might be a really great time for me to offer. It's a soft offer. So anyone who's interested in helping me, I've been preparing this big project on the website. And if you're interested in being in one of my beta testers,
good call out.
This could be a really great time, really, to get this the soft launch going. So email me, alex@intentionbeads.com, if you want to be the lucky few to be the first to try out this thing that I've been working on. So, okay, let's wrap up here.
a little bit about that, and this is a perfect thing for that Mercury opposing Uranus.
I just thought it up. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So the Talisman times, it's been a light couple of weeks so far, and you finished one Tuesday, November 2nd, to gather stability in my home.
That's sold. on the website. Yeah.
And we have none upcoming.
No.
So
like what's happening this week and next week, we're not going to, immortalize that and put it into a talisman that has magic powers,
mm-hmm.
Like we can be picky, right? We have to be exclusive for exactly the good stuff coming in. There's some things at the end of the month.
And also we do have the talisman of the month that's on the website, to be persistent and content. If you click the link in the description, you will be sent right over there and you get a special discount on the talisman, as well as a $5 credit for a shipping credit. So I think let's move on to the horizon and talk about the things that we just wrapped up, which the first was November's astrology forecast. That was Sandy and Susan got together. We posted it live on Facebook, and it was perfect. It was Halloween. We had a little Halloween contest and some winners that won the cheat sheet, which also is available for download. So check it out. We would love for you to comment there and hear your feedback.
That was so fun because I was in Cincinnati with my mom, and she's been cleaning out the house and doesn't have any stuff like that, like Halloween
costumes.
And I didn't pack one. I'm like, I don't have one. I'll find a wreath or something hanging on the wall and I'm going to put it over my head, something like that. So when I said, "Oh, Mom, I need to like roust around and find something funny to wear," and she goes, "Oh, I have that big sun face mask that I still have in the basement." I was like, "Oh, I'm going down right now." And it was perfect for my Leo rising.
It was wonderful. And it looked good. And I mean, maybe not the most practical when you need to read something because the eyes were a little bit smaller, but
I took it.
I know
you took there. I took it off.
I know. But you made it work.
Yeah.
So and don't forget to download the astrology cheat sheet. Basically what this is, it's a downloadable PDF where you have all of the dates and all of Sandy's notes. So you don't need to be taking notes during that forecast and not during the podcast either.
And Susan Goodell adds her line of description for each of the dates.
And she's the financial astrologer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to November 10th. That's this Wednesday. We have our astrology webinar. This one's called The Last Pass, Saturn Square Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a continuation of one that we had back in February, because this has kind of been a dance between Saturn and Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part was the shaking up structures. How are we going to shake up our own selves? What do we want to activate and change within us? And then this part 2 is now going to be involving Mars, which is like a big energizer.
Yeah, and Mars is, like I mentioned earlier in this podcast, that Mars is fully equipped, totally ready, has all the strength he needs to get her done. Getting things done.
And it's about harnessing that energy.
And this is a T-square, and you're going to learn about it because this is not a cakewalk. This is not a walk in the park. What other kind of walk is it not? A Sunday afternoon.
A moonwalk. So
a beach walk.
I also want to offer to all of our podcast listeners, if you wanted
a cookie walk. Anyway, go ahead.
Cookie walk. So if you wanted to do the part 1 and part 2, you'd be able to read up, I guess, listen up on what Sandy and Susan shared back in February, and then during the live webinar, be extremely informed on all of the, pre-work.
That's a good idea.
You can get that second webinar for 60% off. All you need to use is the promo code Saturn Uranus. It's all one word, and use that once you have both of those webinars in your cart. You're going to get 60% off that second webinar. So,
which reminds me of that TV show I started watching last night.
Money Heist?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why?
Why am I thinking about that right now?
Yes.
Because in the first episode, as he's trying to train his students to money heist.
His criminal students, yes. Right?
The best in the world. he says we don't use our names. We don't use our first names. We don't use anything that will connect us to our life out there.
Because even if they torture them, they can't tell them their names.
They don't know it. So he says we're going to use planets.
Yeah.
The teacher or the guy in charge says we'll use planets, and the girl says, I want to be Mars, and somebody said I want to be Saturn, and one guy goes, oh, and yeah, you can, points to another guy, you can be Uranus, and he turns around and goes, I'm not an asshole. And they started this little tiff, and the guy in charge is like, okay, forget it, we're just going to call cities. We're going to go to cities. Yeah. So there's a Denver. There's a Houston. It's true.
Sometimes Uranus can be a little bit of an asshole. Likes to shake up and create some sudden changes. So also don't forget you can book a reading with Sandy and Susan on the evening of November 10th. That link is in the description. Basically what that is, you talk to Sandy and Susan, two astrologers at the same time, which is pretty unheard of in the astrology industry.
It's pretty cool because we both come at it, we come to the same point.
Look at your chart. Yeah, your personal chart.
Looking at your chart, and we can certainly talk about this Uranus T-square with Uranus, Saturn, and Mars. This is volatile.
Right.
This is volatile.
And so December 4th to late January, we have our Constellation Bracelet Workshop. This is the winter solstice, and we bring these up every 4 seasons. It is a bracelet that has, with all of our intention bracelets, they all have one intention. Mm-hmm. This specific bracelet is a constellation. So each and every bead of the bracelet is made at a different time and for this purpose. Mm-hmm. And you get to create that. What is it for you that you're going in this direction? So this whole bracelet turns into 12 intentions all in one. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool process, getting together with a small group of women, understanding what's going on in each other's lives, supporting one another, learning astrology, and looking at life from a different lens. And I think just the feedback that we've got for so many years of doing this is the community is incredible. The knowledge is priceless, and just the feelings of setting intentions and being in such a sacred space is unique.
Yeah,
and sacred.
There are no calls after midnight. Well, I should be talking about Central Time,
right?
Where we are, we're set
this season.
This season, which is like you said, the winter solstice. This starts on December 4. We don't do any gatherings during Christmas, the Christmas week, New Year's week, or the week after. I'm going to be in Mexico on the retreat that I'm hosting. So we don't come back until mid-January, and we end here at the I think it's February 4th. I think that's our last one. Of the 12. So anyway, there's a few spots left open, so hop on that.
Right. Link is in the description. Below. And if you have any questions, of course, email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. Also, finally, I want to remind everyone that our generational malas are available on the website. These are the malas that my grandmother strings, my mother makes the beads, and I finish with that tassel at the end. They're very special to us, and we're so excited to have these ready for the holidays because you're going to find someone a gift on any of these. They're colorful. They're beautiful.
They are. They're rich and elegant and intricate. And what I like about, some of them have, 3 and 4 that match and look alike, which I think I can just imagine, someone
like your nieces or
and everybody's
sisters.
Connected wearing the same coloration with the same intention. I really like that community, family, or girlfriends or family.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking to see some gifts for my girlfriends. I usually give them the same thing because it's just so much easier.
Yeah. So and these are $77. So they're affordable.
Yes. So let's move into our house. We are talking about my trip. We just, chatted about your trip. You just got back from Ohio. You were taking care of your brother, who just got done with surgery, and a successful one at that, which is great.
A successful surgery of in the head.
In his brain. My goodness. And it's a blessing that he came out with only some Frankenstein type of scars.
That was kind of the biggest shock, and in shock to him when they finally took all the pressure bandages off his head, and the scar was to be a silver dollar behind his ear, like would be in his hairline, so they couldn't see. Mm-hmm. When he took it off, it's somebody called it a large clementine. I want to call it a grapefruit. It starts in the back, on the side of his skull, all the way up about an inch or 2.5 inches from his eye,
right,
and then back around over his ear. It's massive, and it looks like Frankenstein.
And he even joked. I mean, I love that he kept his humor. He even joked, well, he's like, I dressed up as Frankenstein for Halloween, and now that his beard is growing so long, he goes, I think I'm going to be perfect timing for Santa Claus. So,
I don't think he even knew that his beard was gray.
Right. He never has a beard.
Because he never has one. He shaves every day.
Right.
I mean, he's only 60, but it's like, oh, yeah, maybe I could be Santa. So it's like perfect timing.
So I'm about to head out of town. I am heading to Tulum, Mexico, also up to Cancun for 2 weeks. So
that like working remote kind of thing.
Working remotely.
I heard you here. You're working.
Yes, I'll be working. So email me, check in on me, and make sure I'm working. And so my boyfriend and I are going to be taking a trip to Mexico. He's from Mexico, and I need to be practicing my Spanish. So and we need some sun. We need some sun and some relaxation. So
right, nobody's been out of nobody's moved. Nobody's left town.
We got so good. We got so good at traveling, and then COVID hits, and now I forgot how to do it.
That's what I'm worried about. But I did earlier mention that, the 2 weeks that you're out of town, really please listen to the podcast, Alex.
Yes, I will. I'm listening loud and clear. That Mars energy, I will be very cautious of.
Yeah, you don't want to go anywhere where you don't,
pickpocketing
alone or don't carry a backpack everywhere.
Okay.
Secure your room.
Normal travel stuff. Yes.
But it was funny because we both have the same Amazon account.
Right.
And I was having to order some things for the retreat and I'm making sure they're, getting delivered because I have my neighbor come and get it.
All the books. Yeah.
All the things. And I keep seeing, something's being delivered. And I'm like, what? A skinny mini bikini? I'm like, well, certainly that isn't for me. And then 2 days later, here's 5 more bikinis coming in. And then the next day, 6 more bikinis coming in. I was like,
I'm going to be living in bikinis.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know how many there were, but I'm like, Alex, are you wearing any clothes when you get to Mexico?
Yes, of course. I'm just also going to be getting a tan, so I can work and tan at the same time. But funny enough, the reason why I have that many, I don't need that many bathing suits, trust me. But I needed to figure out the size if they fit, because we used to be able to go to the store and try it all on. But now, luckily, we have the ability to try it on at home and ship anything back that we don't need. And one of them, it was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. I'm not kidding. And I was trying it on, and I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure my boyfriend has no idea what this song is. So I start playing it, and I was dancing around in my itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. Oh my gosh. And I re-listened to all of the lyrics, and it was like it's just really funny. Like she was timid to walk out of the dressing room because it wasn't something that she normally wore. And I mean, it was just really cute.
And then what? Please enlighten me. I know I sang that on my 45.
What else? How does it end?
Yeah. And then she was just like working it.
Right. I think she was working it. So yeah, I think
we're similar to you. You're going to be working in it.
Right. I am.
Is that a promise?
Yes.
You're going to leave me. Don't.
It's all going to be okay.
Everything stops.
It's all going to be okay. And so, yeah, we'll be going to some cenotes. We'll, of course, enjoy the beach.
Is that a bar?
No.
Oh.
It's the natural, kind of cave waters.
Cenotes?
Yeah.
It sounds like a cigar.
It's like the deep wells that you can go dive in.
And you don't come up at the other side?
No,
I don't know. This is just a rough week.
We're not going to be doing that. We're just going to be swimming in them. One of the Airbnbs that we'll be staying at is on this jungle terrain. And it's a little cabin in the middle of nowhere. And there's these beautiful cenotes. So it's the pool. It's the pool of the little kind of like, it looks like a commune. It's like a little community. And that's the pool. So it's all natural.
Pool.
Yes.
Deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks pretty shallow in the pictures, but I'll let you know what it actually is like. So, and they have sweat lodges there. They have, native ceremonies. All of their cuisine is freshly made right there daily. So and they have peacocks and all of these there's like a little zoo on the area too. So I'm so excited. It's going to be great.
I hope they don't have bulls.
No.
Just what you want, Uranus in the sign of Taurus.
How many times can you tell your mom not to worry without?
And I don't really worry, except that this is just the week to stay home under the blankie. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Well,
I'm going to be working.
I'll be face forward in my computer during the days. So, yes, that's the update on my trip. I will be talking to you all next week from there. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening to our podcast. It really means a lot to us. Send in that feedback. Give us those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, and we will see you next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. See you later, Alex.
And so you finally know you control where you go.